Dear students, wish you a very good day. Today I am going to start the very first chapter of class 10th first flight. The name of the chapter is A Letter to God by G.L. Fuentes. The full name of G.L. Fuentes is Gregorio Lopez Fuentes, who was a Mexican novelist, poet, and journalist. He was one of the leading chroniclers of the Mexican Revolution. He was born on 17 November 1895 in Mexico and died on 10 December 1966 in Mexico City, Mexico. The chapter carries the theme of faith of common man in God. Faith can move mountains, but what should we put our faith in? This is the question this story poses. This story revolves around a farmer whose name is Lancho. All his crops are ruined. He writes a letter to God asking for 100 pesos. Through the story, we will try to find out if the letter reaches the God, if God sends him the money. Lancho is the protagonist of the story. His house is the only one in the entire valley. It was situated on the top of a low hill. From his house, the scene of the entire valley was visible. He could see the river and the field of ripe corn, which was dotted with flowers. His field of ripe corn always promised a good harvest, but the earth was in need of a downpour or at least a shower. Lancho had been watching the sky towards the northeast all the morning. Reaching his home, he announced that they were really going to get some water. The woman who was preparing supper might have been his wife. She called all her children and served meal. In the meantime, big drops of rain began to fall. In the northeast, huge mountain of clouds could be seen approaching. Students, here you see the use of a figure of speech named metaphor in the phrase, huge mountain of clouds. Metaphor, a figure of speech in which two dissimilar objects are compared. Here, clouds have been compared with mountains. While clouds and mountains are two entirely different things, but between them there is one quality that is common, and that quality is their hugeness. That is why there is the use of metaphor. Lancho was so much happy that he went out to enjoy rain. Coming back to his house again, he compared raindrops with new coins. He compared big drops with 10 cents and little ones with 5 cents. Again, there is the use of metaphor. Raindrops and coins are two entirely different things. What is common between both of them? Their worth. As money brings prosperity, in the same way, these raindrops also bring prosperity to his crops and ultimately bring prosperity to his family. He was satisfied seeing his field of ripe corn covered with rain. Again, metaphor is used in the phrase curtain of rain. Suddenly, the weather changed to worse. Hailstones began to fall. These hailstones, balls of snow, were looking exactly like silver coins. The boys came out to collect frozen pearls. Students, again you see, here hailstones have been compared with frozen pearls. So again there is the use of metaphor. In identifying metaphor, you have to keep one thing in your mind, that is, comparison is not expressed through the words as like. Now we are proceeding further in the story. So the stormy weather lasted for 1 hour. Everything was looking white as covered with salt. Everything was destroyed. Lancho was grief-stricken. He said to his sons, if the field had been attacked by a swarm of locusts, still something would have been left. The hail has left nothing. He was lamenting that they would all go hungry through that year. Now you see the questions for oral comprehension check. The first question from NCERT is, what did Lencho hope for? As you have read that everything was alright, his corpse was ready and only it required a shower of rain, and Lencho hoped for a downpour or a shower of rain. Number 2, why did Lencho say the raindrops were like new coins? Here you see raindrops have been compared with the new coins. When you were reading the chapter, there you saw that there was no use of like, and that's why I told you that there was the use of metaphor. But in this question, there is the use of like, and that's why you can say that there is the use of simile. Simile is also a figure of speech in which there is the comparison between two dissimilar objects, and but at least there should be one quality that is common, and what is common between raindrops and new coins is their worth. As coins bring prosperity, in the same way these raindrops will bring prosperity for Lencho's crop, and that's why these raindrops have been compared with the new coins. Number 3, how did the rain change? What happened to Lencho's fields? How did the rain change? The rain changed to worse. The weather changed to worse, and it was changed to hailstorm. What happened to the Lencho's field? Lencho's entire crop was destroyed. What were Lencho's feelings when the hail stopped? Lencho was grief-stricken. He was thinking that all through the year they would go hungry. So this is all about the first part, and we have to start the second part of the story now. Lencho's family was the single family living in the middle of the valley. There was a single hope, help from God. He had extreme faith in God. God allows no one to die of hunger. God's eyes see everything, even what a man thinks in his heart. God must have seen him working hard like an ox. Here, I want to draw your attention in this line. Lencho was an ox of a man. See the use of metaphor here also. The comparison between two dissimilar things, and only one quality is common between ox and man, that is hard work. Though Lencho was a farmer, he knew how to write. The next Sunday at daybreak, he started to write a letter to God. He wrote, "If you don't help me, my family and I will go hungry this year. I need 100 pesos in order to sow my field again and to live until the crop comes, because the hailstorm." In this way he continued to write, and this I have quoted from the NCERT book. He put address of God on the envelope, placed a stamp and dropped it into mailbox. A postman saw the letter, laughed heartily, and showed it to the postmaster. The postmaster also laughed heartily, but he felt jealous of his faith in God. He was an amiable person. He was friendly and pleasant. The postmaster also wanted to have the same kind of faith as Lencho was having in God. He did not want to shake Lencho's faith, so he decided to reply him from the side of God. When he read the letter, he found that only reply would not do. He had to send the amount of money Lencho had asked. He stuck to his resolution. He stuck to his resolution means he decided firmly to send the money. He consulted with all the employees of the post office Everyone became ready to contribute his share in the act of charity. He was successful in collecting only 70 pesos. He put the money in an envelope addressed to Lancho with a signature of God. Now, comprehension check from the second part of the story. Question number 1. Who or what did Lancho have faith in? What did he do? So, the first part of the question, who or what did Lancho have faith in? The answer is Lancho had faith in God. What did he do? He decided to write a letter to God asking for 100 pesos from him. Second question, who read the letter? So all of you see, the question, the letter was first read by the postmaster. What did the postmaster do then? The postmaster decided to send reply to Lancho. But when he read the letter, he read that there was the demand of money from the God, and that's why means he decided firmly that he would collect all that amount and send that amount to Lancho. So this is the answer of the third question, and we will proceed further with the third part of the story. Lancho had so much faith in God that the next Sunday he came to receive reply from God. The postmaster himself delivered the letter to him. At the same time, he was feeling satisfied that he had performed a good deed. Lancho's faith in God was so strong that he did not show the slightest surprise on seeing the money, as if he was sure to receive money from God. Instead, when he counted the money, he became angry. He asked for paper and ink and started to write the letter. He was writing the letter with the wrinkling of his brow, as if it was very hard to express himself. After completing the letter, he affixed a stamp, wrote the address of God and dropped it into the mailbox. The postmaster opened the letter. It said, now I am reading the part of that letter which Lancho wrote to God. He wrote, God, of the money that I asked for, only 70 pesos reached me. Send me the rest, since I need it very much, but don't send it to me through the mail, because the post office employees are a bunch of crooks. Lancho. Now see the last line again. The post office employees are a bunch of crooks. Here in this part of the letter, there is the irony of situation. Irony. Irony is also a literary device, a figure of a speech in which a writer writes what is not expected by the reader. Here, readers don't expect that this Lancho will bring this type of conclusion for the post office employees, that he will say a bunch of crooks to those post office employees who helped him a lot. So here in this part of the letter, there is the use of irony of situation. Now there are some questions for oral comprehension check. The first question is, was Lancho surprised to find a letter for him with money in it? No, not at all, because he had firm faith in God that God do exist in the world, and he would receive the letter and he would send a reply to him. What made him angry? What made him angry? Means there was the less amount of money in the envelope. This made him angry. So these are the questions for comprehension check, and there are some more questions in NCERT book. They are, who does Lancho have complete faith in? No doubt in God. Which sentence in the story tell you this? Now you have to find out the sentence from the story by yourself. Second, Why does the postmaster send money to Lancho? Why did postmaster send money to Lancho? Because he did not want to shake his faith from God. है ना, to shake Lancho's faith from God. That's why he decided to send money to Lancho. Why does he sign the letter God? So that Lancho should think that this letter was sent directly from God. Number 3, did Lancho try to find out who had sent the money to him? Why? Why not? Lancho had so firm faith in God that he did not need to find out by whom the money was sent. Means there was firm belief in him that he was thinking that it was surely sent by God. Who does Lancho think had taken the rest of money? Lancho was thinking the rest of the money was taken by the employees of post office. What is the irony of the situation? I have told you. Means readers were not expecting that Lancho would blame all the employees of the post office for the theft of money. So, what is the irony in that? Here is the irony of a situation. Next question. Are there people like Lancho in the real world? Yes, there are some people like Lancho in the real world, and these type of people are knave. Knave means they are extremely gentle persons, and means you can say they are unquestioning. Unquestioning means they don't put any question before their faith. And there are two kinds of conflict in the story, between humans and nature and between humans himself. There is in the starting of the story you saw that there was conflict between human and nature. Means a human was trying his best and the nature was standing like a destroyer. And there is also conflict between humans. Means here you see the post office employees were helping him, and this Lancho was putting blame in the employees of post office. He had firm faith in God, but he did not have faith in humanity. Means he did not have faith in humanity, means that he did not try to see that God is present in the form of human also. So that is all about this story. What you have learnt here, you have learnt about the theme. The theme poses a man's faith in God, and secondly you have learned the use of metaphor. What is the definition of metaphor, how it is different from simile. Means in both these figure of speech there is comparison between two dissimilar objects having at least one quality in common, but in metaphor the comparison is expressed by not using the words like as, but in simile there is used the words of like and as. So this you have learned, and secondly you have learned what is irony. Irony is a figure of speech, you can say it is a literary device in which means a writer wants to say exactly contrary to what the readers expect. So this is all about this chapter, and you will try to find out the example of simile, metaphor and irony in other stories and in other poems also. Thank you.